as we're practicing through this slow flow, just a reminder, take care of yourself, take breaks when you need it. And of course, checking in. I've got a cushion here, so utilizing anything that you might need to support your knees as we continue to move through this. And then we'll get started on our bellies today. So come onto your mat and come onto your belly, stack your palms, rest your forehead on your palms for crocodile pose. And crocodile pose is a lovely way to check in with your diaphragmatic breathing, breathing a bit more into your low belly and ribs rather than chest breathing. And you might even notice a bit of space creation in your mid to low back by taking those deeper breaths. And if you're finding there's any pressure or discomfort in your low back, if you slide a throw pillow underneath your belly, underneath your hip points, that little bit of a lift can sometimes alleviate any pressure you might feel. And as you're continuing to bring your focus back to your breathing, just noticing a few more rounds, this deep diaphragmatic breathing, 360 movement around your rib cage. And you can also really gently press your forehead down in this crocodile pose. That downward pressure activates the front of your neck and creating a bit more length through the back of your neck. And then release any downward pressure you have with your head. Just really gently rock your forehead side to side on top of your palms. And then come to stillness. You're going to stretch your right arm out long in front of you, just a bit of warming here. You can either lift your forehead or keep your forehead resting down on your left hand. And you're going to reach your right arm up and your left leg up. And again, just a gentle bit of warming. The back of your hand or your right thumb can be reaching up. And then just check in. See if you can reach up a bit higher, left foot, right arm. And then come back down to center. Plant your right forearm across your mat. Reach your left arm long. Then as you're reaching your left arm up, start to reach your right leg up and back. And then checking in with your neck, either head floating or forehead pressing downward. And right in the middle of this too, press your pubic bone down and then re-engage by lifting your left arm and lifting your right leg. Then release everything, come back down. This time plant your hands alongside your rib cage. And take a moment, press the base of your skull forward, drag your upper arm bones back. And on your next breath in, come up to cobra, just for an inhale. And then as you exhale, roll back down, either keeping your head floating or tapping your forehead down. Cobra again, just a little lift up as you inhale. And then rolling back down as you exhale. One more time, cobra, perhaps moving towards up dog, just making sure your low back feels good. And then downward facing dog this time as you exhale. A couple of rounds of breath here. Feel free to make any movements. I use the word couple a lot. I almost never mean two. So we'll spend several breaths here. Yeah, good. As you're exploring movement and settling into this shape, also checking in, noticing if there's any tension through your neck, through the back of your legs. And that movement can help shift us out of any tension points. And start to come to some stillness in this down dog if you haven't already. And take a deep round of breath. And when you exhale, push your hands away from you to lengthen your spine a bit more. And take another round. Slow breath out. And lift your right leg up as you inhale this time. And draw your right knee towards your right elbow, pulling a bit more forward as you exhale. Stretch back long, three-legged dog, right leg goes up. And tuck your right knee towards your right elbow as you exhale. And one more time, stretch out long. And this time, pull your knee towards your chest, plant your foot between your hands. And crescent lunge, rise up. Soften your back knee a bit. Take a deep breath in this crescent lunge. Press more firmly into your front foot. Take one more breath. Step forward, bow forward at the top of your mat. Halfway lift. And reach your arms back as you exhale. Rise up, deep breath in. Bow forward, empty out. Halfway lift. High plank as you exhale. Walk your feet hip width distance or perhaps a bit wider. And then pull the pit of your belly up as you exhale. Take a deep breath in. We're going to take a little twist here. Rotate your heels to the right. Keep your left hand firmly planted. Rotate back to center. Feel free to readjust your feet. And then just your feet again, rotate your heels to the left. They may or may not touch the ground, just moving in that direction. Back to center. Again to the right, just rotating your heels, allowing your right hip to lower. Back to center. Rotate your heels to the left, lowering your left hip a bit. One more time, back to center. Pull the pit of your belly up and back, downward facing dog as you exhale. Take a round of breath. Slow, steady exhale. Lift your heels again. Look forward as you exhale. Jump or step forward. Halfway lift, deep breath in. And sweep your arms back. Rise up, just warming through your body. Bow forward, empty out. Halfway. High plank. Pull the pit of your belly up. Downward facing dog just for your exhale. This time, lift your left leg up, deep breath in. And tuck your left knee towards your left elbow as you exhale, drawing your shoulders over your wrists. Reach back up, left leg nice and long. Left knee towards left elbow, slow and steady breath. Reach back up, three-legged dog. This time, tuck your knee to your chest, plant your left foot between your hands. Crescent lunge, reach up. Soften your back knee enough that you can lift your hip points, stabilizing your low belly. Take a round of breath. Begin to press a bit more firmly into your front foot. Take one more breath here. Step together, bow forward at the top of your mat. Halfway lift. And sweep your arms back as you exhale. Rise up, deep breath in. Bow forward, empty out. Halfway. High plank to exhale. Take a breath, and this time, forearm plank. Plant your forearms, elbows where your palms were, palms facing forward. Take a round of breath. Again, walk your feet about hip width distance or just a bit wider. Full breath in. Rotate your heels to the right as you exhale, right hip dipping downward. Back to center, readjusting your feet as needed. Rotate to the left, nice and slow and controlled. Back to center, full breath. One more round, dip to the right, heels and hip lowering. Back to center. One more time to the left. Back to center. Dolphin, press your hips up and back. Take a round of breath. Feel free to tiptoe your heels a bit or your feet a bit closer to you. Full breath in this dolphin. Really gently press your chest back towards your knees. Breath in. Start to press more firmly into your palms. Perhaps one arm at a time, downward facing dog, lifting your elbows, slow, steady breath. This time, lift your heels. Look forward between your thumbs. Jump or step, halfway, full breath. Sweep your arms back as you exhale. Rise up, deep breath in. Chair pose just for your exhale. Rise again, squeeze right above your kneecaps, strengthening your legs. Bow forward, empty out. Halfway lift. High plank, plant your feet a bit wider than hip width distance. Take a deep breath in, press firmly into your right hand. Swivel your heels to the right. This time, left arm goes high for side plank. So with your feet in this more stacked position, left foot in front of right, pull your left hip point up a bit, creating a little bit of rotation at your hips. Take a deep round of breath. Stay for your exhale. Take one more breath. Come back to center, readjust your feet about hip width distance or a bit wider. Press firmly into your left hand, and then side plank again, allowing your feet to be in line in front of one another. Press down into your heels, rotate your right hip point up a bit. Draw your shoulder blades together, stabilizing through your upper back as well. Take a deep breath in. Press your heels to pop your hips up an inch. Take one more breath. Then downward facing dog, press back. Take a breath in. And push your hands away from you as you exhale. Lift your right leg up nice and high. Step your foot between your hands. This time back heel comes down. Warrior one, rise up. Warrior two as you exhale. Reverse your warrior, lengthen up through your right armpit and then reach back. Then downward facing dog, just a big spiral. Switch out your feet, left foot goes forward. Warrior one, deep breath in. Warrior two as you exhale. Reverse your warrior. Downward facing dog, switch your feet again, right foot steps. Warrior one. Warrior two. Reverse. Downward facing dog, big movement, switch your feet, left foot forward. Warrior one, inhale. Warrior two to exhale. Reverse your warrior. Downward facing dog, this time stay as you exhale. Take a deep round of breath. Again, push your hands away from you to exhale. Breath in. Slow and steady breath out. Lift your heels up. Look forward between your thumbs. Jump or step, halfway, deep breath in. Sweep your arms back as you exhale. Rise up. Chair pose, again, just for your breath out. Rise up, drive through your heels to lift. Bow forward, empty. Halfway lift. High plank, setting your feet hip width distance or a bit wider. Press your right hand. As you're ready, side plank, feet in front of one another, left foot forward. Take a deep breath in. And then two options, either lift your left foot up or plant your left foot in the center of your mat, knee pointing straight out to the left. In either position, take a deep breath in. And then start to cactus your left elbow, tuck it towards your left knee. Back up, reach up. And then left elbow towards left knee. You're gonna lean forward a bit if your foot is planted. Reach back up. If your foot is floating, crunch back in, knee towards elbow. Really good, reach back up. Knee towards elbow, slow and steady, nice side body movement. One more time, reach back up. High plank, readjust your feet a little bit wider than hips width. Plant your left hand firmly, and then side plank opposite, right arm goes up. And same options, either floating right foot or right foot firmly planted in the center of your mat. Take a deep breath in. And then right elbow towards right knee. If your foot is down, you're going to crunch in and forward a bit. Reach back up. Tuck down, right elbow to left knee. Reach back up. Squeeze in, elbow to knee. Reach up, shoulder blades together. One more time, tuck, elbow to knee. Reach back up, big sweeping movement. Downward facing dog to exhale. Take a deep breath in and out. And push your hands away from you. Lift your right leg high. Step your right foot forward between your hands. Crescent lunge, back heel stays lifted. Soften your back knee, lift your hip points. And we'll spend a few rounds of breath here, working on warming and opening the front of your back hip. So you've got lots of options. Either arms can stay up or hands at hips. And then you can keep your back knee lifted, or you can also place your back knee down. And in either position, keep your hip points pulling up, looking for some active stretch through the front of your back leg. And as we stay, focus again on this deep 360 diaphragm breathing. And every time you exhale, a gentle tuck of your hip points up, stabilizing through your belly. Give yourself a full round of breath. And really gently start to pull your right hip crease back a bit. Take a deep breath in. And then keep rotating to the right, either open arm twist or left hand down for a more supported open arm twist. In either position, whether you're upright or reaching your left hand down, notice your right shoulder blade. Tuck it back behind your heart to stabilize your mid-back. Take a round of breath. Lift your hip points up as you exhale. Full breath. Slow and steady breath. Take one more breath here. And plant both hands inside your front foot for lizard. Take a breath. Keep your back knee lifted. And then lift your front heel. You might even lift your hips a couple more inches. Take one more breath. Lift your whole front foot. Downward facing dog. Stay for your exhale. And take a round of breath. And give your head a bit of a shake as you exhale. Lift your left leg up high. Plant your left foot between your hands. Back heel stays up. And then as you're ready, crescent lunge. And taking any variation of this crescent lunge. So arms up for more warming, hands to hips for more stability. And then in either position, whether your back knee is up or down, make sure your back knee is soft enough that you can lift your hip points. And as we settle in here, just utilizing every single exhale, pulling your belly button backwards as you exhale, and then that little lift of your hip points. Really good. Couple of breaths. And start to guide your left hip crease back to begin the rotation. And then as you're ready, add your arms, either arms reaching front to back, or lean forward and plant your right hand on the ground. Take a round of breath. And squeeze your shoulder blades together behind you. Breath in. And slow breath out, in and out through your nose as much as possible. Seek a bit of expansion through your rib cage. Tuck your left shoulder blade behind your heart. And take one more breath here. Lizard, plant your hands inside your front foot. Keep your back knee lifted for now. Take a breath. Lift your front heel, lift your hips a few inches. And pull the pit of your belly up as you exhale. Lift your whole front foot. And then downward facing dog to empty. A couple of breaths here. And guiding your hands forward and away from you. And come into high plank again. And this time, lower all the way down to your belly with control. It's nice and slow. Once you get all the way down to the ground, set up for locust. Palms alongside your hips. Take a deep round of breath. Squeeze your upper arm bones back away from your ears. And locust pose, start to lift up. Squeeze your upper arms back away from your ears. And just your right arm, reach it forward. Once your right arm is forward, see if you can lift your left heel just a bit. Take a breath, left foot, right hand up. Then guide your right hand back again, locust pose. As you're ready, left hand goes forward. Once your left hand is forward, check in with your legs. See about lifting your right leg a bit higher. Deep breath in. Slow, steady exhale. One more breath. Right foot, left hand just a bit higher. Back to locust for your exhale. Final breath here. And come all the way down. Plant your hands alongside your rib cage. Cobra or up dog as you inhale. And downward facing dog, stay for your exhale. And feel free to make any movement here. And lift your right leg up. Plant your right foot between your hands. This time back knee down. This is a place where if you need a cushion, just grab that, place it under your back knee. A couple of breaths right here in this low runner's lunge. And then guiding your front knee forward, leaning your upper body heavy onto your front knee. And you may stay right here. If you're feeling a stretch through the front of your left hip, this is a great place to stay. If you'd like a bit more of a stretch, walk your right hand inside your front foot for lizard. And then you might come down to your forearms in lizard. But again, choosing the position that's giving you stretch through the front of your left hip, but also support for your head, neck, and shoulders. Slow and steady diaphragm breaths, breathing in and out through your nose as much as possible. And then just a little shift. Keep your legs in this position. Everybody bring your hands to your front knee. Once you get lifted, reach your left arm up, then reach your left arm over to the right. Your right hand can stay on your front knee. You might be low enough that your elbow rests on your knee instead. But as you're leaning to the right, you can also really gently press your left hip point at a diagonal to the left and slightly forward. And that subtler motion. You also want to check in with your low back, making sure you're not pinching your low back at all. And just another breath or two, expanding through your ribs, especially the left side as you inhale. And then reaching a bit further as you exhale. And then go ahead and plant your hands back down again. This time you're going to walk your hands to the left, straighten your front leg, and then your back foot, your left foot, you're going to kickstand it behind you, so swivel it to the right behind you. So we're working towards gate pose. Right leg nice and long. Inner groin stretch is what we're looking for. So you might be at the big toe mound of your foot, inner blade down. Yeah, really good. Once you get there, walk your hands farther forward so that you're leaning forward into your hands. And then nice and slow, rock your hips forward, almost like you're taking an up dog, straightening your left leg a bit as you lift your chest. And then shift back again, almost like you're moving to down dog. And do that 2 more times, just rocking your hips forward, bending your elbows back towards your rib cage as you lift your chest. And then shift back again, pushing your hips up and back as you straighten your arms. And 1 more time, rock forward, chest up. And then finally land back. You can either sit on your left heel, or you can also lift your chest up, just resting your hands on your hips. And in either position, whether your hands are down and you're leaning a bit more forward or you're more upright over your hips, just settling in, looking for some kind of a stretch through your inner right groin. You might also feel it in your hamstring. And settling into this supported gate pose for a few rounds of breath. Give yourself a few more diaphragm breaths again, seeking that movement through your rib cage. And then press up to long arms. This time continue to walk your hands to the left till your hands are facing the back of your mat, and then downward facing dog. And we're facing the back. That just saves us a bit of movement. And feel free to pedal out your knees. And start to lift your left leg up nice and long. Step your left foot between your hands, back knee down. And again, you can stay in this supported runner's lunge, allowing your upper body to lean your front knee forward until you feel a stretch. You're also welcome to turn this into lizard by planting your left foot inside your left hand inside your left foot. But again, in either position, looking for a stretch through the front of your right hip and settling in. And as we stay, utilizing your breath again, expansive diaphragm breathing on the inhale. Check in with your neck and shoulders. See about softening your shoulders away from your ears as you exhale. And everybody lift up, hands to your left knee. And then as you're ready, stabilizing your left hand or left elbow onto your left leg, reach your right arm up and over. And again, we're creating the stretch through the top first, Right armpit, right fingers up and over to the left. And then at the base of this, with a very gentle movement, you can gently press your right hip slightly to the right and slightly at a diagonal forward. And give yourself another breath or two, seeking some expansion, especially through your right ribs. And a very gentle lean as you exhale. And then bring both of your hands back down inside your left foot. Start to walk your hands to the right, turning this into gate pose. So your right foot will kickstand behind you as you straighten your left leg. And once you've created this shape in your legs, walk your hands far enough forward that you're leaning forward a bit. And then begin that little bit of motion. Rock your hips forward, draw your elbows back as you lift your chest, like cobra or up dog. And then shift back again. Push your hands away from you as you guide your hips back. Again, rock forward, lifting your chest like cobra or up dog. And shift back, lengthening through your spine. Push your hands away from you. And one more time, rock forward. Chest up as tall as it'll go. And then finally, rock back. Settle your hips onto your right heel. You can either stay low through your hands and elbows or sit a bit more upright. You can also feel free to move your left foot if you're not quite feeling a stretch in your inner groin. You might move your foot a bit more forward or back. And then settle in. Just one or two more diaphragmatic breaths, seeking a bit of expansion, especially through the back of your rib cage. And start to come up to long arms again. Walk your hands to the front of your mat, downward facing dog. And then from here, come into tabletop. And once you're in tabletop, walk your knees to the far left edge of your mat so that you can place your right hip down towards the center of your mat. And once you're there, walk your arms forward so you're down on your forearms. And this is a deep belly twist. Some of you might stay right here. And some of you may continue to lower down, maybe resting on your chest. And then options with your legs. You can either keep your left knee stacked on top of your right, or you can lift your left knee, place it behind your right calf. So that's dependent on hips and low back comfort. But in either position, just making sure, again, your head and neck are supported. Settling into this deep belly twist. And then one more note here. Your head can either face to the left, right ear down, or you can rest on your forehead. And then the most intense twist would be to turn your gaze to the right. It just depends on what's comfortable for your neck. In this deep belly twist, just remembering to check in with your breathing and seeing some expansion through your rib cage. And then only if you would need a bit more of a twist, you'd like to go a bit deeper, you can lift your head up just enough that you can guide your left arm underneath you, a bit of a thread the needle position. And again, that's only if you want to go a bit deeper. It's not necessary if you're feeling settled into the twist. And everybody press back up so long arms again. Take a moment, walk your left hand to the center of your mat, then reach your right arm back. So it might not be a super deep twist. Your hips are pretty locked and loaded in this position. Your arm is only going to reach so far, but just a nice opening through your chest. And then go ahead and come back to center. Lift your hips, come back to tabletop. And then downward facing dog, just a reset for your spine and hips. And as you're ready, back to tabletop. This time, walk your knees to the far right edge of your mat. Place your left hip down. And then deep belly twist. Again, you may come down to forearms or all the way down to your belly and chest. Your right knee can stay stacked on top of your left knee, or you can tuck it behind your right calf. And then just make sure that your head can rest on something, a pillow, stacked palms, or perhaps the floor. And that option to go deeper, again, totally optional. If you want to go deeper, lift your chest enough that you can guide your right arm underneath you for thread the needle in your upper body. Everybody press up to long arms again. Plant your right hand in the center of your mat and start to reach your left hand back. So again, your left arm might not go far. You might be reaching straight out to the side, but just opening through your chest. And then come back to center and tabletop to downward facing dog. And checking in with your hips. And that style of twist might feel a little bit different in your back, so feel free to pedal out, shift around, just exploring movement that might help you release anything. And when you're ready, bring your right shin forward for half pigeon or 90-90. Really any outer right hip stretch. And once you choose the position of your legs, allow your upper body to drape forward. And then again, checking in with your head and neck, making sure they're supported. As we continue to allow time and gravity to do some of this work for us, also check in to see if there's any tension points in your body that are working against gravity. And sometimes that can creep up in our neck and shoulders. Sometimes you might even notice one of your legs is hanging on a bit. So just do a little body scan from the crown of your head, checking in with your neck and shoulders, perhaps releasing, walking elbows a bit wider. Noticing if you're holding your low belly tight, allowing a bit of expansion. And then noticing your legs as well. And just traveling all the way down to your feet. And allowing each exhale to release any tension points you might have found. Take your time. Go ahead and sit up. Bring your back leg forward and switch sides. And again, half pigeon or 90-90 is a nice way to allow your upper body a bit of rest. But certainly settling into any outer left hip stretch. As we get into these longer holding poses, it's just another opportunity to gain a bit of a deeper experience of breathing. And thankfully, our body is always breathing for us. But when we make our breath a bit more conscious, it gives us an anchor point to hang on to. And we can also consciously turn on our calming systems by these deep diaphragmatic breaths rather than shallow chest breaths. And if you found that little body scan was helpful, you can do that again. Starting from the crown of your head, going all the way down to your feet. And just checking into each body part, seeing if any part of your body is hanging on, resisting gravity, and using every exhale to release a little bit further, allowing the ground, the earth to support you. These last breaths, time and gravity has done its work. You might notice you can go a bit deeper, maybe walking your elbows a little wider, or gently shifting your left hip crease back as you press your right hip point down. And then if you've deepened a bit, just settle in for another few rounds of breath. And then go ahead and press up to long arms and swing your back leg forward. Come onto your back for legs up the wall. And we won't be here as long, either wrists or a throw pillow or something underneath your hips. Just allowing your legs to be up. And knees soft enough. You don't have to do a ton of work to keep your legs up. Give yourself about 2 or 3 more breaths here, just at your own pacing. And then hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a big squeeze, perhaps making some knee circles. And then rock yourself up to a seated position. Make yourself comfortable. We'll sit for a few moments. Hips higher than knees can be helpful. You can also tuck your shins underneath you. Feel free to utilize a wall to lean against. And just getting yourselves comfortable for a few moments. And then once you're seated, I'll invite you to either set your gaze down so you're not drawing in more visual information, or you can also close your eyes if that feels comfortable. And as we sit here, you're just redirecting your mental attention back into your diaphragmatic breathing. And it doesn't have to be the deepest breath you've ever taken, but seeking again this expansive quality on the inhale. And noticing that bit of softening that occurs when we exhale. And this attention focus or attention training, it's not meant to force any thoughts away, but just redirecting your attention back to breath. Breath is always happening in the now. Oftentimes our thoughts are in the future or the past. And just taking another moment or two, just noticing what is the experience of this brand new breath. And you're welcome to stay seated upright, just continuing to explore this gentle attention focus practice. You're also welcome to recline, take a more traditional Shavasana. But whatever position your body is choosing, you might continue to follow this breath practice. Or at any point, allow yourself to settle into deep rest. The days when deep rest comes easy, allow it to happen. And the days when deep rest doesn't come quite so easy, just continue the breath practice. Just calming diaphragmatic breaths. It doesn't mean that we're always immediately calm inside our minds, but just moving in that direction, just inclining your mind towards noticing each breath. And then if you're reclined, start to stretch your arms up overhead. Create a little banana shape in your body by reaching both of your feet and both of your hands to the right as your hips stay to the left. And if you're seated upright, you can reach your left arm up and over to the right. And switch sides if you're reclined, just wiggling your limbs to the left. And then coming back to center, if you're reclined, go ahead and roll onto your right side. And then everybody press back up to a seated position. And once you're seated, I'll invite you to either keep your gaze down or eyes closed. And then if it's comfortable to do so, just plant your palms together. There's lots of reasons we do this. It's an international symbol for gratitude. It's also a really lovely way to remember your own support for yourself, just your own hand supporting your own hand. And then together we share with each other. I bow to you. Namaste.